We have talked about broken anime spells, broken anime field spells, and now we'll be taking a look at the most broken anime equipped spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are quite a few of them, some I have brought up before, but many I have never even heard of before researching this video and finding out about equipped cards better than some banned cards in our real-life game. If that sounds ridiculous for something searchable off Hidden Armory inherently, you would be right. And boy howdy was it easy to find 10 examples of the top 10 broken anime equipped spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! Our first equipped spell is one that is more funny than game-breaking, I just really wanted to talk about it. Most equipped spells give you a fluctuating amount of attack and defense if it would ever surpass 1200, like Mage Power or United We Stand. This is just something I think we'll never see in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever again, even though we really could have it printed. Laser Cannon Armor in the anime only equips to insect monsters, and gives them 1500 attack and 2000 defense. You basically just smash a well-statted level 4 bug into whatever bug you're buffing. It's great! Just a simple buff that can make for general hilarity. Crawler's Spine becomes an even bigger god with 4100 defense. Chainsaw Insect can saw dragons in half with no effort whatsoever. But we're not here to talk about actual uses. We're here just to look and gawk at an equipped card that has some of the biggest numbers on any equipped card I've ever seen. It sure beats an actual useful effect, right? Just hit something slightly harder. Floodgates are the banes of the existences of most players. I think we can all agree. Now, what if you could turn them off? Eternal Reverse is an equipped spell that lets you once per turn flip an opponent's face-up spell or trap card face down. This can be used to turn off any sort of floodgate for a turn, from Imperial Order to Kaiser Coliseum, at least allowing you to try and make more plays and do something with your board. This is especially important considering it's a once per turn effect, so you can just keep doing this and annoy your opponent further with even more copies of Eternal Reverse. And if you're wondering, yes, this is your one true god to turn off Mystic Mine and win the game against the most degenerate and unfun deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! For the past couple of years. Yes, I'm counting all the Firewall FTKs. We need Eternal Reverse to be printed! On top of all these great perks from a simple effect, it can send itself to the graveyard to negate battle destruction, which is the cherry on top of this strange cake that you probably won't use, but hey, it's added onto a great effect anyway, so now there's a bit of variety in what you want to do with this card at any given moment. All in all, this may be the most balanced card on the list, meaning this may see a direct printing at some point, and it'll be a solid side deck option for controlling stun decks. Where was this back when Clyforts had triple skill drain and vanities, am I right? Next up is a spell that would become an instant pick in Isolde decks merely because of its other condition. Sky Excalibur gives the equipped monster 400 attack and the power to be unaffected by all of your opponent's card effects. Oh yeah, you can make anything into a mini Ultimate Falcon. Seems pretty good. Most cards that refuse to die are pretty good and see play in some way, shape, or form. So imagine giving that perk to anything you want, like a Majesty's Fiend, for example. You're welcome for the most evil idea you've heard all day. In addition to giving Masterpiece levels of protection, if the equipped card goes to the graveyard, you can revive a Winged Beast tuner from the graveyard. Yes, this was intended to be used with black wings like Gale or Gofu, but what about Steam to extend Link plays? It's still a tuner. You can still use it for a Synchro if you want. Go into Omega, who cares? Two really good uses for this card that would see play in Black Wings for the second effect alone, and see play in most any deck that uses Isolde for the first effect alone. All-around solid card that may even have the possibility of being printed, considering it would be strong, but not unfairly broken. I mean, we printed Engage, so who am I to talk about balance and what could be printed? Anything could be printed! Hey, you remember Zodiac? Remember the deck that only needed one monster to use as an Xyz material? Had Barrage and Rat Boy, had a tanky on legs and a quick effect popper, and they could loop their resources so effectively that they ran Coach King Giant Trainer purely to flex at a competitive level? You know, the deck's so bad to deal with that some OCG stores honor banned it from locals to the point of physically tossing a man outside of their store. Confirmed story, look it up. Okay, now imagine that power but as an equip that any deck can use for any Xyz monster. Overlay Satellite makes the equipped monster count as 2 materials, and unlike Zoo, the Xyz monster doesn't miss out on additional materials because Overlay Satellite attaches itself from graveyard upon Xyz summon. This card alone makes Xyz spam much, much stronger as you take less board presence, and your resources are a whole lot more generic and whatever you want them to be in the first place. Like I said, you want to barrage in any deck? You want to make any deck zoo for a bit? You want to sit in the corner and think about what you've done? Do you like Ancient Gears and want their destructive OTK abilities in any deck? Or do you want to show your Fusion Dimension pride? Either way, Ancient Gear Mask is the card for you! It negates the Equip Monster's first destruction attempt, gives it the Ancient Gear back row lockdown effect, makes it a piercer. On top of that, it can double an instance of damage the Equip Monster deals, including the aforementioned piercing effect. This card is a ridiculous OTK enabler, and should never be underestimated. You ever just wanted to strap on Chaos Max and Ancient Gear Golem effects onto whatever card you wanted? Now you can! Create your own terrifying OTK machine along the lines of Quacky Mayru's, and see what happens. Utopia the Lightning attacks into a Maneater Bug for game is my new favorite thing I want to do to end the game. Just need more people to play Maneater Bug again. Come on, Yugi tubers, I know some of you watch my channel. Pimp out Maneater Bug, get that price up. Come on, it counters danger somehow, I'm sure. Just pimp it out. I want people to run Maneater Bug. Now we have a spell that makes for instant links in a pinch, that also can serve as Insanity Incarnate. Spirit Illusion is an equipped spell that spawns a token of the same stats and everything of a monster that it targets with an added bonus. The token gains the effects of the equipped monster. Yes, a token with a legitimate effect outside of just burn when it leaves the field. Of course, if you use it with something like Red MD, you can get 2 uses of it, and a token that can make Agar Pain with such wonderful ease. There is another card coming up that works amazingly in the Guard Dragon idea, so let's just keep this in mind. Something even better is that technically you can abuse hard once per turn effects with this thing, so Loops and Degeneracy can run rampant with this card existing. I mean, it goes from every level of the meta. Okay. So at the top, you just have extra links, with extra link arrows. You can just make another Saryuja immediately. Why wouldn't you want to do that, am I right? On the flip side, you can just summon a Shooting Star Dragon, and then make a token of another Shooting Star Dragon, and they both attack 5 times, so you can be really anime. Doesn't matter if you're being meta, doesn't matter if you're trying to just do some jank stuff on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. This card is ridiculous! Know how Isolde is already busted even when the equips are bricks that do nothing for you outside of Phoenix Blade doing very close to nothing for you? Well, you better pray to whatever deity you call God that Blade Graveyard isn't an actual thing. On field, it grants the equipped monster 800 attack, but in the graveyard, you can banish it to add any card from either graveyard to your hand. Add back an important playmaker, a one-of power card, a random card your opponent might need, or hell, in case of Isolde, maybe even give yourself one of the equips you just milled, like Moon Mirror Shield. It's completely up to you. I'm sure that this would lead to an FTK because, well, banish it to add a card from either player's graveyard sounds a little, ridiculous. I just don't have the mental fortitude to think of it right now because I already had to go through other FTKs just to bring up some other things on other lists. There's too many FTKs. Gotta think of too many. They're just too powerful. But either way, yeah, banish this card to bring in anything from the graveyard. What the... I don't... How do you think this is going to go? Have you ever wanted to play Topologic Gumblar Dragon, but now you look at the ban list and you go, oh no, I can't use Topologic Gumblar Dragon, but then the anime comes in with a trench coat and hands you this card and says, hey, you want to play Topologic Gumblar Dragon? Scar Dragon Whip is an equip that instantly banishes your 2 cards from your opponent's hand on activation, as a cost. Yeah, it's only a 500 attack boost, but taking parts of your opponent's hand for ransom is kind of powerful enough to put Omega from 3 to 1, and Omega's gonna stay at 1, even in Master Rule 4. So yeah, hand disruption seems to be pretty powerful. Only thing holding it back is the fact that the cards return to the opponent if this were to ever leave the field, but let's also consider the fact that Omega is still an incredibly powerful synchro. It just rips 1. And it takes itself! It leaves! You put more work into it to only rip 1 card, and it just leaves. It's 2800 attack that is now gone. Your field is now slightly more barren from that point forward. This, if you have a monster, you just go yeet, and then 2 cards are gone. Of course you run it in every deck. Why wouldn't you run it in every deck? You can just hit hand traps, hit combo pieces, hit whatever you want. It's broken. Put in 3 Scar Dragon Whips into every deck. That's just the meta. So, have you ever wanted to make a mono-type deck that needed that extra insane buff and ability? Well, Synchronic Type is an equip spell that is absolutely nuts. This card makes the equipped monster gain the effects of all monsters on the field with the same type as it. And in testing, it gives you your own effects again. So if you give this to a Red MD, and watches Guard Dragons go beyond Tier 0 as Red MD gets his own effect twice on the field, as well as the effects of the Guard Dragon links, and the Guard Dragon links get the effects of other Guard Dragon links, and the Guard Dragons get Red MD effects, and it's just a cataclysm. It's just dragons everywhere. Wow. One of my associates tested this in Dark Scorpions, and it made immense mills in one swing with Don Zalug. If Dark Scorpions could be made a threat from this card, then you know this is ban-worthy. I would love to make a video just talking about Dark Scorpions with this, or some other jank terrible deck. Would you guys be interested? Maybe Watts? Would you guys like it in a replay format, or me doing it live? I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section down below. Our number 1 is something that is absolutely terrifying to get off, and all for the simple cost of one of your monsters becoming an explosive device of infernal flames. Prominence is a spell that has you equip it, and then you can destroy the monster whenever you want. That's it, number 1, bye. I'm just kidding. When you do, Raigeki the opponent, burn them for 500 damage per monster. It's Raigeki that burns. That's it. It's held back by certain aspects like effect destruction, immune monsters, but what else doesn't have these flaws? I mean, come on, Snatch Steal's a good card even though MST exists. Just keep in mind that also, fun fact, it's literally better than Raigeki in every sense of the word because you can equip it to your opponent's monster, and then it destroys the monster. So yes, you get less burn, but you don't have to give up one of your own monsters. It also is a very, very large burn. I just love it so much. It's just so funny to me. Why would you print Raigeki that burns? Why even make it an equip spell? There are like 3 different cards on this list that really shouldn't be equip spells, but should just be normal spells, or also not exist at all. Oh, the anime and manga. I will never get used to you.